Yes. Dr. Boulel.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. With your permission, I move the Vallée de Sterling Endemic Garden Foundation Repeal Bill, number 7 of 2007, be read the first time.
Yes. The motion needs to be seconded. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I move the Repeal Bill, number 7 of 2007, be read the second time. The findings of the Office of Public Sector Governance are revealing. No responsible government can be indifferent to mismanagement. A technical committee was set up at the level of the ministry to assess all the financial implications and logistical means. It reached the conclusion that the best course of action is to transfer all activities of the Vallée de Sterling Endemic Garden Foundation to the National Park Conservation Service. Consequently, the native terrestrial biodiversity and national park will be amended. Madam Speaker, I was Minister of Agro-Industry when I moved this bill in 2007. It is a body corporate and covers an area of 275 hectares of pristine forests comprising of endangered and indigenous plant species, an amazing garden with its rich flora and fauna. The management and administration of the garden should have been paramount. The Vallée de Sterling is a site where pink pigeons are displayed, and it will eventually become a release site for these birds. Beautiful parakeets fly over. The valley of beautiful birds indeed. The pink pigeon was brought from near extinction by Carl Jones, an ornithologist of world repute. It is a heaven and gateway to birders' paradise. It was Prime Minister Dr. Ramgoolam, and he was right to save another valley, that is the Valley de Fernie. Blessings indeed, otherwise a motorway would have cut across it. President Macron, his official visit, will plant the traditional tree at Sesiusaga Ramgoolam Botanical Garden and will make the most of cultural heritage of the garden to consolidate the strong bond between our small island developing state, ocean state, and the Republic of France. Some will call it garden diplomacy. Madam Speaker, the newly appointed High Commissioner to London, a keen botanist and scientific, will re-establish contact between Royal Botanic Kew Garden, like-minded research centre, and the Vallée de Sterling Endemic Garden. Our best endeavour is to save endemic species. Training of staff and setting up of seed bank are vital. The valley is an attractive place, much sought after by natural lovers. The garden was centre for research, development, innovation, of learning for school children, and a randonnée for the wider public. A garden with a window to a majestic valley of great and exquisite beauty, wetlands, rivers, canals, cascades, glens, with amazing flora and fauna, making the young excited about something fundamental, primitive, and contact with nature. This is the place where you put the damn phone down. The foundation was financed initially by funding of the National Park Conservation Fund. Financing would have been self-financing would have been inevitable if it had been properly managed. Much hope was pinned on the board, comprising of 10 members. All the hopes and expectations were dashed as from 2015. Matters deteriorated at an incredible pace since 2016. The director wielded power with the ruthlessness unfit of a manager. It's a curse, and management has been abysmal, absolutely shocking. He's on a permanent and pensionable establishment of the foundation. Does he legitimately deserve any entitlement? Guilty of negligence and crime against nature, unbelievable and unbeatable unscrupulousness. Sometimes what is legal is not always legitimate. The then government acted irresponsibly and allowed descent into chaos. Management was topsy-turvy. Over the recent years, the Foundation formulated three strategic plans, 2020-2022, 21, 2026, 2022-27, merely an eyewash. No action plan was prepared for implementation. The director ruled with an iron fist, full of himself, and waged psychological warfare to undermine management, instill fear and morale of staff side. Vacant, unfunded posts of key positions such as technical manager, scientific manager, administrative manager, and a human resource manager, these posts were never filled. The 33 workers of the foundation are protected under the Workers' Rights Act of 2019. 28 out of the 33 are employed on a permanent and pensionable establishment of the foundation, including the director. 5 persons are employed on a temporary basis. They will, all except the director, be transferred to the National Park and Conservation Service on a permanent and pensionable establishment. Section 4.7 of the Savings and Transitional Provisions Clause of the bill make provision for the termination of his appointment upon commencement of the Foundation Bill Repeal Act. He will be paid his pension benefits, if any, in accordance with such pension schemes as may be applicable to him. The guy must go. As to procurement exercise, the Office of the Public Sector Governance had this to say: during the last procurement exercise held in April 2023, the APSO had issued tender documents to a supplier who was debarred by the Public Procurement Office from participating in public procurement from August 2021 to August 2024 for misconduct relating to submission of a bid, a case of no return, but aided and abetted by the indifference of an irresponsible regime. The inertia of the regime of Pravin Jagannath was a trademark, except when it had to put the hands in the tills and pockets of taxpayers. The decadent regime waited on the stroke of midnight to enlist the services of the Office of Public Sector Governance to conduct a thorough inquiry into the management of the Vallée de Endemic Garden Foundation. The findings of the report was submitted on the 16th October 2023, and the word pool featured prominently in the report. A cursory look of the report would send cold shivers down the spine over wastage, mismanagement, and fraudulent practices. The repeal of the Act is a strong signal. A detailed study of the Office of Public Sector Governance gives us every reason to introduce a program-based budgeting. And Prime Minister is right, no substitute for transparency, accountability, and governance. And there are lessons to be learned and drawn from the repeal of this Act. Madam Speaker, the laws and acts, if a regime is indifferent or insensitive and does not wage war aggressively on corruption. A responsible government is under the constant gaze of the watchful eyes of taxpayers. The audit report will no longer be a letter through the letterbox to be perused at leisure. Game over. This bill is a foretaste of the politics of public-based budgeting, program-based budgeting. The foundation has to be a jewel in the crown of Endemic Garden. It will be entrusted to the Conservation and Park Management Department of the Ministry. The director of the conservator has an obligation to restore this prized garden to its pristine environment. There is no retreat, no surrender on firm commitment. Section 10A on management and administration of the garden is the main thrust of the bill. The director of the National Park and Conservation has taken firm commitment. We all have to live up to expectation of a nation which believes in tight scrutiny of sustainable environment. I have impressed upon the directors of the National Park and Conservation Service and Forestry not to look back but to draw lessons, to level up, and this is an opportunity which is knocking to revamp this centre, making it into a centre of repute. An endemic garden with a seed bank is as good as gold, and a joy for all, from scientific world to the mere mortal seeking solace from Mother Nature. It can be a potential for biodiversity carbon credit. With these words, Madam Speaker, I commend the bill to the House.
again needs to be seconded. Thank you. Mr. Bhagwan.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Madame la Présidente, aujourd'hui, cet après-midi, nous débattons d'un texte de loi qu'on peut qualifier de fort symbolique par rapport à notre responsabilité intergénérationnelle. Madame la Vice-Présidente, un acte fort, concret et symbolique. Madame la Présidente, que lèguerons-nous à nos arrière-petits-enfants? Un grouillant centre financier et touristique, d'importantes réserves dans une grande banque internationale? Non, Madame la Présidente. Notre responsabilité envers les futures générations va bien au-delà de là. Nous devons laisser à nos enfants une planète qui leur permettrait tout au moins de bénéficier des mêmes conditions de vie que nous avions connues. Le contraire serait injuste, égoïste et à court-termiste. Madame la Présidente, nous voulons, à travers ces amendements, préparer le terrain pour quelque chose de plus grand, de plus fondamental, la reconnaissance du droit de la nature dans notre Constitution. C'est un changement de cap. Il ne s'agit plus de nettoyer ce qu'on salit, ce qui est élémentaire. Il ne s'agit pas seulement de protéger l'environnement, mais d'apprendre à respecter toutes les formes de vie se trouvant sur notre planète, les droits de la nature. Madame la Présidente, une vision forte et courageuse d'un gouvernement qui agit, un gouvernement du changement. Situé loin d'eau bleue, la vallée d'Austerlog est l'un des derniers sanctuaires de biodiversité encore préservés de notre île. La vallée d'Austerlog abrite une flore et une faune endémiques rares, avec au moins 67 espèces de plantes déjà identifiées. Parmi la grande diversité de plantes, certains portent des noms créoles malgré imagés, tels que bois casson, takamaka, bois corail, bois bouquet banané, langue de vache, bois de natte ou encore de bois margose. La vallée d'Austerlog est l'un des derniers refuges de la flore native de l'île. On ne le répétera jamais assez. Seulement 2% du territoire est couvert de forêts natives, principalement dans le sud-ouest. Le sud-est est sur certaines îles satellites. Avec 39% de plantes, 80% des oiseaux non marins, 80% des reptiles et 40% des chauves-souris considérés comme endémiques, Maurice, petit point perdu dans l'océan, à un niveau élevé d'endémisme. Au point où le pays a été désigné par l'Union internationale pour la conservation de la nature comme un centre de diversité végétale. Et il fait même partie du hotspot de biodiversité de Madagascar et des îles de l'océan Indien. Madame la Présidente, une biodiversité unique, mais bien fragile, tellement fragile. Actuellement, 89% de la flore endémique mauricienne est considérée comme menacée. Et 61 espèces indigènes sont déjà classées comme éteintes. Le perroquet à large bec et 2 espèces de tortues géantes, comme on le dit dans le jargon, Asded, Azédodo. L'obsédant, bien sûr, le fait que la science travaille à faire renaître le dodo. Concernant les espèces végétales endémiques, 141 sont en danger critique. De nombreux efforts sont en cours, mais les défis restent énormes. La stratégie nationale pour la biodiversité a défini 5 objectifs stratégiques, dont l'établissement d'un réseau représentatif et viable des zones protégées. Parmi les 8 zones classées Protected Endemic Sanctuaries, PS, il y a justement le Vallée d'Austerlog. Tout comme l'île aux Aigrettes et les gorges de Rivière-Noire, ces sanctuaires endémiques sont des poches de vie. Ils abritent ce qu'il nous reste de biodiversité originelle. Ils sont les derniers bastions de forêts natives, de refuges des plantes et animaux endémiques, les poumons verts de notre avenir. Madame la Présidente, tout comme la protection, la conservation et la gestion des zones environnementales sensibles sont d'importance capitale pour le fonctionnement naturel de ces lieux et la viabilité du développement socio-économique du pays. Un comité que moi-même je préside avec le duo ministère Jean Avérangé, l'Environmentally Sensitive Areas Committee, qui se veut être une plateforme de coordination, facilitant la collaboration entre ministères, organismes et ONG concernés, contribuera à la protection et la préservation des zones écologiquement sensibles par le biais de politiques gouvernementales, de programmes ciblés et des initiatives stratégiques et de normes spécifiques. Le but, Madame la Présidente, est de préserver leurs intégrité et de maintenir leur fonction écologique. Les disparités relevées dans les études précédentes portant sur 3 zones écologiquement sensibles, à savoir les marais côtiers, les zones humides d'altitude et les mangroves, font actuellement l'objet d'un travail de révision confié à un cabinet de consultants pour une durée de 6 mois. De plus, reconnaissant l'importance des zones écologiquement sensibles en tant que rempart naturel, protégeant à la fois la population et la biodiversité, le gouvernement s'engage à introduire une loi sur les zones écologiquement sensibles, en cohérence avec son programme. Cette loi servira de socle à un développement véritablement durable. À ce sujet, des consultations pour la révision de l'ébauche de l'ISB ont déjà démarré. Madame la Présidente, en abrogeant la loi qui encadrait jusque-là la fondation de la Vallée d'Austerlitz et en transférant la gestion de la vallée au National Parks and Conservation Service, nous faisons un choix de bon sens. Le gouvernement n'a pas perdu le temps pour réagir et agir. Il a pris acte, comme l'a bien dit mon collègue, du rapport de l'Office of the Public Sector Governments qui a pointé du doigt un grave dysfonctionnement de la gouvernance de la vallée d'Austerlitz, déficit de leadership et mauvaise gestion, comme c'était la pratique sous l'ancien gouvernement MSM. Un constat qui ne pouvait être ignoré. Le NPCS est l'entité publique dédiée à la gestion de nos parcs nationaux. Son mandat par rapport à la biodiversité terrestre est clair: protéger, restaurer et sensibiliser. Il est donc tout à fait logique que l'administration de la vallée d'Austerlitz passe sous la loupe du National Parks and Conservation Service. Cependant, Madame la Présidente, ne nous voilons pas la face. La protection de la biodiversité n'est pas l'affaire d'une NPCS et celle du ministère de l'Environnement. Elle est à la fois la responsabilité environnementale et un enjeu économique et social majeur pour le pays, signifiant que tous, autorités nationales comme régionales et citoyens surtout, doivent se sentir concernés. 5 facteurs majeurs influent sur la biodiversité biologique. La conservation de milieux naturels en milieu artificiel est la cause principale de la destruction et du morcellement des écosystèmes. Les pollutions de l'air, du sol, de l'eau, mais aussi lumineuses et sonores, affectent tous les aspects de l'environnement. Par exemple, le plastique pollue les milieux et touche tous les organismes qui le peuplent. La surexploitation des ressources compromet gravement le fonctionnement des écosystèmes et leur renouvellement. Le changement climatique influe sur les cycles de vie de l'ensemble des êtres vivants. Il impacte également la répartition géographique des espèces dans la chaîne alimentaire. Les écosystèmes sont d'excellents thermomètres et des effets du changement climatique. Et leur gestion doit prendre en compte les évolutions constatées. L'introduction volontaire ou involontaire par l'homme d'espèces exotiques envahissantes, impacte tous les milieux et les territoires. Nos forêts, nos rivières, nos oiseaux, nos plantes endémiques auront droit à l'existence et la régénération et à la protection. Et la vallée d'Austerlitz, avec ses 275 hectares de biodiversité, jouera un rôle essentiel dans cette transition. Le nouveau cadre permettra la valorisation de la recherche scientifique, tant disparue, la formation des jeunes à l'écologie mauricienne, l'accueil du public dans le respect du vivant, la restauration des espèces menacées. Ce sanctuaire, que j'invite beaucoup parmi mes collègues d'aller visiter, deviendra un lieu de reconnexion, d'identité, où chacun pourra sentir qu'il fait partie de cette île, de cette nature et de ce tout fragile mais magnifique. Et j'inviterai mon collègue à organiser une visite pour les membres du Parlement avec vous à la tête.
Très bonne idée.
Madame la Présidente, protéger la nature, c'est penser l'avenir autrement. C'est défendre une autre idée de progrès fondée sur la justice écologique, la solidarité intergénérationnelle, la responsabilité collective. Vivre en harmonie avec la nature pour une meilleure santé et une meilleure qualité de vie. À travers les parcours de santé comme le yoga que j'avais moi-même initié en quelques années de cela, une vingtaine d'années de cela. Avec le ministère de l'Environnement, nous sommes en train de réhabiliter en ce moment. Je suis sûr, mais les amis de la circonscription de Montrodé seront partie prenante de cette réhabilitation. Nous voulons maintenir ce lien avec la nature et faire de la biophilie une passion de nos concitoyens. Alors aujourd'hui, Madame la Présidente, et je demande à mes collègues de voter ce texte de loi avec conviction, parce qu'il porte en lui plus qu'une réforme. Il porte une vision, une cohérence et une espérance, celle d'un pays qui prend soin de son vivant, celle d'un gouvernement qui agit, et celle d'une nation qui choisit la voie de la responsabilité, du respect, de l'avenir et de la nature. Je vous remercie.
Merci. Yes, Honourable Ms. Tanu. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We ecologists welcome this bill. We are very happy, which is a very rare phenomenon. While we await the inclusion of the rights of nature in our Constitution and the environmentally sensitive area bill, we applaud the government's commitment to protect the Valley of Austerlitz, a prime sanctuary indeed for our endangered endemic species. Madam Speaker, every Conservation Act is about protecting life, protecting nature, protecting our ecosystems that are currently under dire threat. We live now in the era of the Anthropocene, as we mention again and again. What is the Anthropocene? It is the era where man has crossed all planetary boundaries, heralding an era of uncertainty as to humanity's future. We have crossed all limits whereby the stratosphere could self-regulate. Man's industrial activities are now irreversibly altering the planet. The future is dark for future generations. We are currently experiencing the 6th mass extinction, and human life itself is at stake. Thus, when this government embraces its duty, its prime responsibility to protect nature during this era, we can but thank our decision makers to be guardians of life by protecting nature. With this bill, the government is laying the firm foundation for an eco-centric future. It is honouring its pledge to protect our fragile ecosystems as laid out in our government programme. It is the ecocentric future we want. It is the ecocentric future we need. It is the ecocentric future we will continue to fight for with every fibre of our being. A responsible state, an ecologically conscious state, ready to invest in our ESAs, our environmentally sensitive areas, will pave the way for a whole nation to become custodians of nature. Let us be mindful of what being a custodian means. Among indigenous people across the world, the people who are foremost in the battle against the mass annihilation of our ecosystems, to be a custodian means to be a duty-bound, benevolent guardian. It does not involve the concept of ownership, which is a capitalist perversion of our relationship with nature. To be a guardian, to be a custodian, means to recognize our prime and sacred duty towards protecting nature. We do not own it. We take care of it with benevolence, with a humble knowledge that our survival depends on nature. The Valley of Astrolabe can indeed exemplify how Mauritians can be custodians, that is, benevolent guardians of nature. Thus, the public management of our ESAs may follow the model of custodianship as practiced by indigenous peoples across the world. May I remind the House of the rich, eco-conscious cultures of the Aborigines and Torres Strait Islander peoples from Australia, indigenous peoples to whom we are connected through a sacred rapport with nature. Our Indian Ocean history of cultural connections that precede European colonization link us with indigeneity across the oceanic rim. We carry within us our legacies of our ancestors, indigenous people, who were taken from their lands and whose connections with nature have always been sacred. To be a custodian means to protect the sanctity of nature and not to own it or use it for profiteering. Thus, the Valley of Astrolabe can be the model of how our citizens may be involved in the act of conservation through the sharpening of a collective sense of sacred responsibility towards our natural environment. We are hereby engaging with alternative epistemologies, a complex term to actually identify how we view the world from different perspectives other than European colonization. And natural intelligence, whereby we recognize alternative modes of being embedded in nature and central to indigeneity. We are hereby decolonizing our minds. It is the only way of saving the planet, the indigenous epistemology and mode of being with nature that will allow us to navigate the climate crisis and protect our ESAs, our homeland, and our planet as a whole. Madam Speaker, may I read from an indigenous poet, Tanaya Winder's poem on the indigenous sacred in nature. Stand with us as accomplices. Follow our lead, for we have always been well versed in survival. We were shaped by fire, made from lightning and dirt-covered hands that know when to ignite healing. Now is the time. Let us not drown in Mother Earth's tears. Mother Earth has a spirit, and she's asking us to listen. Indigenous people have always been custodians of planet Earth. This government is hereby following suit by shouldering responsibility towards protecting the Valley of Ostolog, our prime ESA. To manage the Valley of Ostolog with the people's participation will ensure that it is managed with sensitivity and understanding. It will be the model of how other ESAs across the island may be managed in an inclusive, participatory, and democratic manner. Additionally, through the provision made for scientific research, this bill ascertains that conservationist efforts may not only be based on local awareness, participation, and knowledge, but on the scientific contributions of experts, as was accomplished under the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Too often, Madam Speaker, we have witnessed the distress of conservationists in Mauritius, whose appeals have landed on deaf ears. May I refer to research accomplished by Professor Vincent Florence and his team on the ecological crisis we face in Mauritius. He has constantly drawn attention to how our indigenous forests are dying with proven scientific data. This bill bespeaks change by precisely foregrounding the need for scientific expertise, such as projects led by Professor Florence. Such scientific endeavors, we affirm, can operate in collaborative, inclusive, and democratic spheres with local people under the aegis of government-led initiatives. With this bill, Madam Speaker, we can initiate alternative economic models that revere nature, protect it, and protect life. The Valley of Ostolog is a prime ecological jewel. It incorporates unparalleled natural beauty, thrives with biodiversity, and has to be safeguarded with responsible and carefully managed ecotourism. The bill refers to recreational activities that may be organized within its midst. This government bears the utmost responsibility with instigating a form of carefully managed tourism so that our endemic species and biodiversity continue to flourish. This bill emphasizes the state's duty towards protecting biodiversity while identifying responsible economic models that will, in effect, shield our biodiversity from ongoing threat. To quote Vandana Shiva, biodiversity is the interconnectedness through which all life flows. Food and nutrition, water, oxygen, and breath, endosomatic energy, the energy of all living systems. We are strand in the web of life. Humans have been separated from nature through what I describe as eco-apartheid. Indeed, we have been disconnected from nature in a world of hyper-consumerism, the world of malls, shopping, and constant buying that has entailed generations entrapped in the endless pursuit of short-term false gratification. This sense of false gratification has been scientifically linked with higher rates of depression among contemporary generations. The Valley of Ostolog, a jewel to be protected by the state, by the people, for the people, with the people, will be the example of how we can disconnect from the mindless realm of consumption to a sphere focused on human well-being, to reconnect with nature, to protect it, and build alternative economic models centered on well-being of both humans and nature. Through the Valley of Ostolog, this government is breaking with a capitalist model that only identifies us as consumers, a model that dehumanizes us. This government recognizes our inherent human need, that is to reconnect with nature and retrieve our humanity. It centers on our rights to access our natural sites across Mauritius for our collective well-being. Our well-being, Madam Speaker, is dependent on biodiversity, as the COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated. This pandemic erupted from the disruption of natural ecosystems when a disease common among bats was transferred to human beings. Protecting our biodiversity is about protecting life, protecting humanity, and ensuring the planet has a future. David Attenborough affirms that for life to truly thrive on this planet, there must be immense biodiversity. Only when billions of different individual organisms make the most of every resource and opportunity they encounter, and millions of species lead lives that interlock, so they sustain each other, can the planet run efficiently. The greater the biodiversity, the more secure will all life on Earth, including ourselves, be. Yet the way we humans are now living on Earth is sending biodiversity into a decline. To protect the Valley of Estolog is to protect biodiversity. It is to protect life. With this bill, we're demonstrating to our children how an eco-conscious government can work towards saving the future. This government is precisely living up to its pledge to uphold life. With these words, I commend the bill to the House. Thank you.
Yes, Minister, you have to do your...
Madam Speaker, since brevity is the soul of the wit, I shall be brief. We have had the pleasure to listen to two excellent speeches, and these speeches come from the inner recess of the heart. As Honorable Mrs. Tanu has stated, let us not drown in the tears of Mother Earth. And this bill is an SOS, saving our soil. And this is precisely what this responsible government is doing. And there has been no retreat, no surrender, and we've acted without fear or prejudice to save the Valley d'Ostolog, Madam Speaker. I don't have to remind members of the House as to the findings of the Office of Public Sector Governance. And we have wasted no time to take corrective measures. And I have impressed upon the Director of the National Park and Conservation Service, now that the foundation has been entrusted to him, this is a garden, this is a jewel of our crown. He has to live up to expectation, and he has to deliver. So responsibilities are there, and they have to live up to expectation, because this is expectation not only of the House, but of the nation. So, Madam Speaker, our vision is that the service, together with its numerous partners, will be able to enhance the Valley d'Ostolog Endemic Garden and bring it to a standard to be recognized by our local community and the international community. With these words, Madam Speaker, I thank you very much.
I take it you again commend the bill to the House.
Speaker, I move that the bill be read the third time and pass. No, I'm sorry, I commend the bill to the House. My apology, yeah.
And then it has to
No,
be
my apology, my
It's
apology.
all right.
Yeah,
We're all humans.
yeah. I move that
You
I commend the bill
and
to the House. I commend the bill to
Your
the House.
friend will second the bill, the motion. that it be commended to the House. Okay. The question is that the Vallée d'Osterlog Endemic Garden Foundation be read a second time. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Public Bill Committee stage.
Yes. On connaît ça? Oui, 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 c'est bon, committee stage.
Clause 1, short title. Clause 2, repeal. Clause 3, consequential amendments. Clause 4, savings and transitional provisions.
The question is that clauses 1 to 4 stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it.
Title and enacting clause.
Question is that the title and enacting clause stand part of the bill. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it. Now I put the final question is that I do report to the House that the Vallée d'Osterlog Endemic Garden Foundation Repeal Bill number 7 of 2025 has passed the committee stage without amendment. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it. Okay, I have to resume my seat. Please be seated. Honourable members, I have to report to the House that the Vallée d'Osterlog Endemic Garden Foundation Repeal Bill number 7 of 2035 has passed the committee stage without amendments.
Public Bill, third reading.
Madam Speaker, before I come to the third reading, let me first of all convey my apologies to you trying to rush the bill through.
Don't worry,
Yes.
we're all humans, as I said.
Thank you very much, Madam.
We want to be better humans, if I understand well.
Yeah. Madam Speaker,
Yes.
I hope the bill be read the third time and pass.
Okay. Motion, as usual, needs to be seconded. The question is that the Vallée d'Osterlog Endemic Garden Foundation Bill be read the third time and passed. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it. Yes. Prime Minister, adjournment?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I beg to move for the adjournment of the House to Tuesday, the 15th of April at 11:30 a.m.
Thank you. The House stands adjourned. I have someone who has an adjournment matter. Yes,
Madam
go
the
ahead.
Speaker, allow me, with your permission, to raise a matter of urgent public importance addressed to the Honourable Minister of Agro-Industry, Food Security, Blue Economy and Fisheries with regards to the delay in disbursing subsidies for the replantation of potato to the potato growers. Can the Honourable Minister do the needful to expedite matters to address this concern?
I'm not going to say apply today, yesterday reply, but I thank my honourable friend for raising the matter. I've taken the matter with the junior minister and the financial secretary. Matters are going to be expedited to give satisfaction to planters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Yes.
Madam Speaker, my request is addressed to the Honourable Minister of Local Government. Will the Minister kindly state the measures taken by his ministry concerning the renovation works at the Bazaar du Flac and mention when is the work starting, please?
Will reply to him. I will reply.
J'ai rien compris. You will try to do the needful. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everybody.